All right. So today I will be sharing with you a little bit about my background, my journey in tech over the last 12 years. And yes, I've been in Microsoft for 12 years now. In my current role, what I do is I basically do contract and commercial negotiations. How I got into tech was actually by coincidence. I was headhunted in 2010, and they were looking for people with market research background, which I had been in for about 5 years, doing something totally new, which I don't have any experience in tech. But I told myself, let's try about a year or two and see how this goes. But a year or two became 12 now, right? But my stay in tech for the past 12 years have been very intentional. I've had opportunities to go back to market research or move to a different industry, but I've chosen to stay in tech because of these reasons. So the first thing is really about technology impact, because in every single day, we are surrounded by tech. When customers purchase Microsoft Office, for example, and every single day they're able to work remotely, they're able to work with great productivity. It's really fantastic, right? So to me, that's really amazing how technology can impact our daily lives. Secondly, it's the people. I've had the opportunity to also meet with people from other organizations. And it's really, a basket of intelligent minds coming together. The third one is diversity and inclusion. It's really super diverse. Every single day, you work with people who have, worked in various different countries, come from different culture. So it's a lot of two-way learning. While you take in that diversity and inclusion of learning, it's also, your role to be able to put the race and religion and whatever that you represent out there in the world. The fourth one is flexibility. As I said, people who look for flexibility in work-life balance. Tech companies, anybody who's keen to move into the tech industry, it's great for flexibility. So it sounds like it's all fun and dandy, but I can tell you being in tech is also very challenging, because in tech, right, things move very quickly. Today, in a few months' time, it may be redundant or things change, and you have to be very adaptable and very agile. And last but not least is the sky's the limit, because I've seen people with coming from different backgrounds in tech. For example, there was this lawyer that I know coming into Microsoft, and today he's actually a tech person. It's really about what drives you and what you're passionate about. Okay, so that's been sort of like my journey in tech. And now I'll talk a little bit about the skills and values, in the tech sector. So I use the SMART, tech SMART, I call it, but it's really different ways to think about how you can progress your career into a tech sector. Okay, so first, think about your strengths and skills. So knowing your strengths and capabilities is important, because that's where you will be able to tap on your expertise and move it into the tech sector. So knowing the soft skills as well is very important. When you have both the, your strength as well as the transferable skills, that will help you a lot. The second one is to adopt a growth and challenger mindset. So you must be able to try to think outside of the box, and also be open to feedback, accept constructive criticisms and improve. So don't just box yourself up in a particular strength or what you know, but broaden it. And it's always constantly about learning and knowledge. So, and again, in tech, it's really about aptitude versus attitude. So knowing what you are interested in, and then learning and growing from it, right? So if you are preparing to go into this tech sector, try to look for these certifications or certain courses that you can do, and that gives you an edge over certain candidates, right? And that will help a lot with your strength and your skills. It's all connected from there. Then look for networking circle, because there's a lot of different roles. And firstly, understanding what it means to be in tech and understanding the roles of different people will help you to do that. And last but not least, envision your path to success. Don't just dream, do it. If you're a student today, have a personal development plan that helps hiring managers understand what your goals are, what are the tangible actions that you're doing, and where you want to go from there, right? Because at the end of the day, tech is a very broad sector. It's knowing whether you want to be in tech because you like the industry, or you want to be in tech because you like the job.
Yeah, thanks, Hakima. Appreciate it. I think we can now move to Ainul, who's very much inclined into the tech side of the industry. So I think without further ado, I hand it over to Ainul.
Okay, so how did I even become a software developer at Thoughtworks? But yeah, I was from Anderson Junior College, now Anderson Serangoon Junior College. From there, I went to SUTD. After graduation, I wanted to get a job offer before I graduated, so I don't have to go through the job search and stuff like that. So I was desperately looking for jobs, and then again, I interviewed, I applied. I went to my career office almost every 2 weeks during my third year. As soon as I found out that I didn't get a return offer, and then I managed to land a job offer at Thoughtworks. So here I am. So basically, software development related stuff, doing meetings, coding with other people, maybe doing interviews for people coming into Thoughtworks. It really depends, but generally it's some sort of coding related work. So where are the opportunities in tech? What kind of jobs can you work? Where do you even start? So we'll talk about it from this slide onwards. All right, so pretty much every tech job trend, right? You can generalize it into 3-4 areas. There's cybersecurity, data science, software development, machine learning, blockchain, that kind of stuff. Yeah, generally you can expect like there be more artificial intelligence. Now AI is more accessible. Also big data. Ultimately, it's just storing way more data online in the cloud and analyze that data. So collecting, processing, analyzing that data, charting it. That's all under like big data and data analytics. Many people think AI as more of like predicting, generating things, but it is way more complex. But generally, AI can be used in automating things. For example, now instead of actually going to a cake shop to order a cake, you can order through the app. Then the app will automatically send the order to the baker. Then once the baker is done, they can just update the app. Then the app will automatically update. Then you will see like the notification or something. So that's sort of like automation. There's also personalization. So most social media platforms, they use artificial intelligence to personalize the content that you get in your feeds, in your organic feeds. Most people are using smartphones first. So what does that mean? A mobile first design means that you are designing and developing your applications for smaller screens. Now for blockchain, the idea is that system that automatically verifies itself. So instead of huge companies managing your information, you have the blockchain that knows how to do it for you. So the reason why blockchain is kind of popular in finance is because when you are sending money to your friend, right? Instead of taking a few days, now it could be done in a couple of minutes, or even like by the end of the day and that kind of stuff lah. So yeah, when it comes to coding, tech is very broad. You don't necessarily need coding experience to work in tech. Yeah, so the roles where coding is required is stuff like data analyst, software developer, engineer, cybersecurity engineer, blockchain developer. All of those are technically still considered entry-level roles if you know where to look. But there's also no tech jobs that don't need any coding experience. So that's UI UX designer, product manager, sales, and business analyst. A no coding tech job, I would say, is a bit more challenging because your soft skills are definitely crucial, and also really knowing how to pitch your skills in your resume. So tech job tips for students. One is to really explore your tech interest. Tech is very broad. In fact, you can mix almost any industry. So don't just build a data analytics project if you want to get into software development. You need to build relevant projects to show to the recruiters, to show in your resume that, hey, I don't just know how to do this, I know how to actually put it into action, basically. And again, really important, whether you are going for a degree, a boot camp, or doing an online course, you need to do networking. LinkedIn, especially if you don't have a LinkedIn profile by now, please make a LinkedIn profile so that it's easier for you to network and for you to be the first to know when a company's like vacancies open up. And then if for those who are still in school, please go to your school's career office. You are literally paying it with your school fee, so you might as well get the school's career advisor help. Next slide. And these are general tech resources. You have free access to Udemy for Business. And then there's also YouTube. And then the best tip of all, know how to Google. And you need to know yourself really well. And you need to self-initiate. You need to have a lot of initiative to learn by yourself, especially if you're not going through the traditional route.
How are you able to meet managing your time, managing deadlines given to you? Yeah.
So to summarize, I think these are some of my tips, which I would say, they're not exhaustive, but some of the things that I'm taking and the insights I've taken from being in tech for the last decade or so. We all have 24 hours in the day. I don't have an hour more, you don't have an hour less. So it's really about maximizing the time that you have every single day to prioritize. You work around that schedule, right? So number one would be prioritization. Number two is don't be afraid to ask for help. You usually work in a team. And I think a lot of people also sometimes think that, okay, if I give this piece of work to someone else, then I will not get, the achievement. It's not my achievement and things like that. But that's okay. Remember that, in tech, we usually work in teams. So we must be able to ask for help, either from your peers or from your manager. Someone else will come in and help with that, right? So those are my two big things: prioritization, and don't be afraid to ask for help.